Welcome to the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Holy cannoli! This is the sort of top dog of the Ferrari lineup. The Grand Touring car, GT car. Front engine, 2 seats, big trunk, luggage shelf behind me. As an all-out package, this is really an incredible car. And what's really interesting to me is the 812 is a really nice complement to the F8. You've got a monster 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12. 788 horsepower. 8,900 redline. It has 529 pound-feet of torque, 80% of which is available at 3,500 RPM. All of which is available at 7,000. It's probably the last of the naturally aspirated V12s from Ferrari. It's the swan song. After this, you're gonna have hybridization, maybe turbo power, but there's something incredibly special about a naturally aspirated engine that can go up that high in the rev range. Just the smooth linear power delivery. In the 812, they changed the intake system and the combustion efficiency, as well as making it a little bit larger in displacement. There's some other crazy things they did to this engine as well. There's a 350 bar direct injection system. It's the first time they've ever used that on a spark ignition engine, so a gasoline powered car. Other than basically like Formula One, that's Formula One technology. There's a control system for the variable geometry inlet tracks. Again, F1 technology. But really what this car is an engine dressed in Italian clothing. And what does that engine do? This. Wow. Just wow. So paired up with this awesome 6.5 liter V12 is a 7-speed double clutch gearbox that has 30% shorter shift times both up and down. They are lightning fast. You just play with that all day. Never even speed up, just keep going the same speed and just down and up shift. There's crazy technology in this car. There's rear wheel steering, and it's a virtual short wheelbase car. So for the first time ever, Ferrari put electric power assisted steering in here. On top of that, they added FPP, which is Ferrari Peak Performance, and FPO, Ferrari Power Oversteer. Those two systems, FPP and FPO, are meant to enhance your driving experience without really interfering with your control of the car. Does it work? It does. We're breaking traction at second, third, and fourth gear. It's a little chilly out today, but come on. That's awesome. So in creating the Ferrari 812, what the engineers did is took all the lessons they learned from the F12 TDF and applied them to the general body of the 812. All of the creases and lines that you see along this body and vents are all functional and they serve a purpose. That starts way up here in the front. There's actually air intakes down here that you can't see through this grille that channel air through, out here, and under the body. Below, under here, is a little diffuser that is air pressure activated through here to channel air under the body through channels and out through the side vents. Right here, we've got little vents going in and out of the front hood, keeping the engine bay cool, of course. Got little vanes down around here to create a clean airflow around the wheels. As I mentioned, the air coming out from underneath pops out this way and is channeled down the side of the body. What's really interesting is, like a wing, this curvature here actually creates lift if you're at speed. So what Ferrari did was the air that's channeled down here comes through here, redirected over this rear spoiler to create downforce so the car stays on the ground. Speaking of downforce, this spoiler here creates significant downforce and some drag. So how did they take care of that? They put a cut right here at the base of this hatch. Everybody thinks that's where the hatch pops up, but it's not. It actually pops up down here. What this little cut does is disrupts the airflow, creates little vortices to reduce drag while keeping the downforce. All of the aerodynamic work on the 812 Superfast ends with this little piece right here. It's a biplane diffuser. Air actually comes over and below this, again, creating more downforce. This thing sticks to the road like glue. Like every other Ferrari made today, everything is on the steering wheel. It's all here, like in Formula One. Turn signals, if your lights are just below that on the left. Then you've got this cool button here, which is for bumpy roads. You push that, and the magnetorheological dampers soften everything up and they soak everything up, and it becomes a Buick with a prancing horse on the front. Then you've got wipers on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, a couple different automatics, and then speeds 1 and 2. Everything is here, everything, including the all-important Manatino. And in the 812, you've got wet, sport, race, CT off, and then everything off. You have a monster center-mounted tachometer, and it tells you what gear you're in with the double-clutch 7-speed gearbox. On the left-hand side and right-hand side, there are 2 screens. On the left, I have my speedometer, outside temperature. I can change that to oil and water temperatures, voltage, PSI, tire pressures. On the right-hand side, that's your infotainment. You can have it as a speedometer. You can put it on the radio, media, navigation, different settings you can play with. All of that is driver-centric. The cabin is really roomy. There's all kinds of space in here. There's a really, really pretty luggage shelf behind me with like leather belt fasteners, sort of like old school, tying down things so that they don't go sliding around. There's some massive Brembo brakes on this car that were taken from the LaFerrari. And I'll be honest, they're probably the weakest link. They don't feel as strong as I want them to. They are, but they just don't feel like it. If I get hard on the brakes like this, sure, you can stop, and then you can go. But it just feels like the brakes are on or off. There's no, like, in-between ground. It's just, they're there or they're not. So I would say that's probably the weakest part of this entire package. But this is a Ferrari 812 Superfast. Lame name, everybody knows it. Should have been like, you know, some cool Italian name, you know, 812 Allegro or something, I don't know. But it is pretty fast. Is awesome. Ferrari, high fives, man. The Ferrari 812 is just a ball of energy waiting to be unleashed upon the world. It's frenetic yet controlled. It's boisterous yet calm. It's sort of a Jekyll and Hyde car that just delivers so much joy. And the really neat thing about the 812 is once your heart rate is up high enough and you just need to settle down, you put it in auto, it shifts for you, you put on the bumpy road thing, it absorbs all of the road deficiencies that are there, and you just kick back and relax a little bit. And it's comfortable enough, roomy enough, spacious enough, calm enough that you can do that. You could drive like this all day. In fact, I think I will. Ferrari 812 GTS, the topless version of the 812 Superfast. Same 6.5 liter V12 naturally aspirated, 788 horsepower, 529 pound-feet of torque, the same Manatino, the same side slip control, the same buttons all over the steering wheel and everything else. It's everything the A12 Superfast is, topless. Ferrari actually went through some extra exercises to make sure you could enjoy the sound of this glorious V12 with the top down. They changed some of the geometry of the exhaust so that you can hear it a little bit better. That's pretty nice. Ferrari says this is the first series production drop-top V12 since the 1969 365 GTS 4. That would be the Daytona Spider of 1969. First series drop-top. Why do they say that? Because there are 4 other V12 drop-top cars in, like the 550 America, the SA Aperta, the 70th anniversary thing. But this is a series production car, and whew, I like it. I like it a lot. It really is just 788 horsepower! Mamma mia! Yes! Yes, please! There's pretty good brakes, too. Oh, man! This thing is glorious! Absolutely glorious! It is an Italian stallion in every sense of the word. And like the F8 Spider, you can put the top up and down while driving. Just don't go over 25 miles an hour. So if you keep it in first gear, that's a good way to do things. So is this closed? Now the fun part is, Ferrari actually also engineered some very, very interesting things into the car to keep it a little more calm inside the cabin when you're driving at speeds of, you know, fast speeds. So obviously Ferrari had to make a few changes when you chop the roof off of the 812 Superfast to get the 812 GTS. Basically the roof and this whole back end are new. What they've done is they've got a little lip right here that airfoils air around into a vortice through here and back down to keep the cabin quiet when you're at speed. One of the changes they had to make was this whole rear fender area. They removed a vent that was here that channeled air through and kept this one, but they moved the position. So what this does now is reduces pressure in the rear wheel well and reduces drag. On the 812 Superfast Coupe, the back window went down into an air channel that created a vortice, downforce, so on and so forth. That is obviously gone with these flying buttresses here now. So what Ferrari did was created a tri-wing diffuser down here that still generates the exact same amount of downforce on the 812 Superfast Coupe. And the top goes down. Same shortened electric wheelbase, it's all the same as the coupe. Just with this glorious piece of awesomeness that lets you listen to everything, and everything is great. Everything is great. Thank you, Ferrari. Love it. Love it, love it, want more of it.